You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Almost Human After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Almost Human After Show.
Oh yeah!
Wait for the beat to drop.
Everyone loves the Crystal Method. Hey there, Almost Human fans. It's AFTERBUZZ TV, Matt Lieberman talking to you. We got Season 1, Episode 8 of Almost Human. You are here. Joining me on the panel, as always, my fantastic panel of co-hosts. We have the wonderful and talented Miss Megan Salinas.
Hey, everybody.
The brilliant and hilarious Mr. Ryan Hooks.
Hey, Ryan Hooks here.
And the freaking genius himself, Mr. Zach Wilson.
Why, thank you, Matt.
You are. You are.
You flatter me.
I have so much love for everyone in this room. Okay, so we got another really cool episode, which was originally episode 2 of the entire series. The second episode produced.
We found it.
Yeah, we found it. We only have one lost episode left. And as Langley M. Neely, he's a friend of the show, also he pointed out to us last night, he was like, I can't believe that this was out of order. This totally would have worked as a second episode, and I 100% agree. Before we get into it, though, I would like to take, on a more serious note, Langley has recently had a death in his family, and our thoughts are with him. He's a big fan of the show, and he supports us. We support him, and if you could just tweet him, you know, some thoughts, some condolences at Langley M. Neely. Very, very nice guy. Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for being a fan.
Condolences, man.
Yeah. Okay, so we have this. It's the second episode aired as the 8th episode. Now that we've had these, like, this back and forth, I'm not even that jarred, but I'm just, okay, let's get on with it at this point.
Well, this one was so much more jarring than any other out-of-order episode. The other ones, like, could have fallen in here, could have not. If we didn't know, we wouldn't have really been bothered by it.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, I think if you'd just been told these are in order, you wouldn't have questioned it. This one, absolutely out of order.
It was jarring to me, especially knowing that it was out of order. Like, I was like, wait, that's weird. No, wait, that doesn't work. Wait, what's going on? And I just kept getting really, like, angry almost that it was so many of these things that they could have done so much earlier.
It was weird to see how everybody's dynamics, like, took, like, 3 step backs in terms of, like, their character relationships.
Yeah.
And just the way people said things that, you know, are only said to establish, you know, character backstory and things like that. Like, what kind of therapist says that sort of thing?
Don't you know that you were in an accident and they killed your girlfriend and she betrayed you?
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Don't you know
That time you lost your leg?
Yeah. Do you remember that? And they gave you a fake leg.
Do you trying to get a rise out of it?
I guess, but it's also we're back to episode 1. Kennex, who has had 0 good influence by Dorian.
Yeah.
You know, except for the fact that he's not throwing him out of a car. You know, he's still
shooting Amexes in the face.
Still shooting MXs, which, since we've now seen episodes 1, 2, and 3, and 5, he kills an MX in episodes 1, 2, and 3. In the one with 2 Dorians, he also killed an MX.
It did sort of bother me in this one.
Or an MX died.
When he killed
it got blasted in the face.
It was other DRN's fault.
Right.
This one bothered me, though, when he shot the MX because its face, like, exploded.
Yeah.
But then in the other one, it just had a hole in its face. So, like, is there a certain type of gun that explodes faces and others not?
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't a continuity thing
It's standard issue. Standard issue face exploding rounds.
Oh, okay.
Versus regular giant hole rounds.
Maybe they're like phasers where you can change the setting.
It was close
face
up.
exploding setting.
Kennex was right there. The last one, there was like he was slightly further away. The criminal that shot the MX.
That's true. No, I immediately had a thought of, like, set guns to rock, because rock and roll melts your face off.
Face melting drum solo.
Yeah. set phasers to Neil Peart. It's the drummer from Rush, for those of you who don't know.
Thank you.
But yeah,
Salesman.
It's also a Rush reference. Salesman. Oh, we're getting into it early. It has not been. It's not been 5 minutes.
On track.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little punchy. I'm gonna apologize right off the bat. So we have this magic bullet plot where this new GPS heat-seeking thermo-whatever Motron bullet with circuitry inside can track you and can fly with, like, without a propulsion system, can figure out how to curve in midair and kill you as long as you're above ground. Really cool concept, and would totally have been a great, you know, first case to jump into with this series. It's a simple enough concept that applies technology in a very, like, easy to understand way.
And it's scary.
It is scary because, you know, when we have this level of surveillance where it already, you know, any agency or anyone with enough tech savvy can triangulate your position just by using your cell phone. You know, God forbid we have all this face tracking technology in every security camera on the planet, and all of a sudden we are targets wherever we are. That's why I love the title, You Are Here. It's kind of taking a reference to maps and you know, as much as we have arrived in this series, wherever you are, so can this bullet.
I mean, this is the natural, like, consequence of the levels of detract society that we sort of started to build. Like, everyone's concerned about the NSA and everything they can track. Well, you can't stop being out in places. You can turn off the GPS on your phone, but you have to exist. And there's security cameras everywhere. And they really, like, drove it home in this episode with all the different technologies. You have trackers in the bullets. You have trackers just walking into the subway. You have the facial trackers for advertising. Like, every
the
use
cell phone
of
in her hand, too, because she played that message on her hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where it's like, okay, the cell phone, the chip is now built into your body. Which, I mean, that doesn't even seem like a technology that's too far away now. Let alone, you know, 50 years from now. So
yeah, no, she has this comm embedded in her hand, and, you know, how were these people getting this stalkerish video of her when they were extorting her husband or her boyfriend, who is very quickly killed as he's, like, running through the city. And also, everyone in the city is apparently a huge dick because no one wants to help him. Why won't that dude let him inside that office building? It wasn't even like a big deal, like a bank or anything. It was just an office building, and the guy was just kind of a dick. And then he had the gall to open the door afterward and be like, "Hey, where are you going?
Why are you such a jerk? What are you banging on my door for?"
Yeah.
Although you really have to give this guy credit because he outran that bullet for a good while.
Right?
A few blocks, yeah.
That's some
How many people can say they outran a bullet for any amount of time?
It might have had to circle around the block once or twice to find a spot to park.
Yeah, no, it was like valet parking. Like, it was just kind of like beep, beep, backing up. I mean, obviously that's not how it works, but I'm a goof, so
if we're
let me
going
do
by
that.
like Looney Tunes.
Yeah, by Looney Tunes logic, it should be able to stop, look around, think for a second, then change direction.
But it has to have a screeching sound in it.
And it scrunches up, and it just kind of like looks this way, looks that way. A hand pops out, scratches its head. Oh yeah, then zooms.
Someone may or may not have been there to be like, he went that way, George, and point in both directions.
Yeah, where's the big fake mustache and a sign with a big screw and a baseball on it? Yeah. We're having entirely too much fun.
I'm doing random sound effects because you're talking about random things.
Ouch! Stephen Lemieux with a huge zinger. He's quite a Looney Tune himself. Our wonderful engineer who keeps us on task. So we have these terrorists who are arms dealers who are trying to sell this technology, apply it into a bullet, and sell it to the highest bidder. And I loved, like, the way that these two looked. The guy in particular had this, like, Roman Polanski-esque character face that I was just like, ooh, iconic. I bet he, like, gets a lot of work, but not on the same show. He couldn't do the same show twice.
One episode, then he's killed off.
Yeah. And, I mean, in this case, he very much was.
One and done.
Yeah. So we have on this side, we have this bullet. On the other side, we have John Kennex in this like anger management support group, and he is just like pitch black darkness telling this dude, I can't believe you haven't killed yourself already. Sticks fake gun in his mouth and is just like, you know, leave the wife, put down your dog, and stop eating peanut butter. He was like, that was his advice to this guy.
I want to know what the guy's deal with peanut butter was.
Well, I mean, before I rewatched it and I was like, okay, put down the dog, like kill the dog. I was like, was his wife applying peanut butter that the dog then, because then it's all part of one big problem. If you're not watching this, the face that Zach Wilson just made might be a winner in the Hall of Fame of just like that thought never even occurred to you and you wish that you could undo today. I know, I'm a devil in sheep's clothing apparently, and he's still reacting. He can't shake it.
He's picturing it.
I'm afraid that you're talking from experience.
No, I feel like you're now imagining every woman you've ever met in that position, and
not
you can't
until
stop.
now.
Well, no, I just never mind.
Moving on.
Yeah, so when he gets out of this support group, who should be waiting for him than his brand new, shiny new partner, Dorian,
His best friend.
Like a puppy.
Yeah.
Just waiting for him at the door.
How you doing, bud? And like, I love, this is still like eager to please Dorian. Dorian, who's still happy to be alive and awake, who is just trying to little by little chip through the stony exterior of one Detective John Kennex. And I love their interplay together in this episode. I don't see why this couldn't have been the second episode because it's very clean. You know, they get to the scene of the crime. Dorian immediately is looking at all the evidence. The MX comes up with this outlandish but still plausible theory, and
0.004% probable.
Yeah. And Dorian's like, actually, you're missing some evidence. There's no way it could have ricocheted, but there is this also other thing, and the MX is just such a snooty snoot. And then Kennex
are inferior.
Yeah, Kennex blows his head off, and this kind of goes back to all the racism and classism allegory that's so rich in this show, where MXs consider themselves above DRNs. He kept saying this thing is inferior, it's obsolete, and you're listening to it over me. You're obviously insane.
It was interesting that it had a sense of pride.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think like the MX is so computerized, so mechanical, would like seem to have emotions.
For a robot, it sounded pretty arrogant and pretty full of itself.
Yeah. Well, I think that was probably part of the programming. You know, like let's have cops who have some level of self-respect and aggression and, you know, trust their instincts, but, you know, they have to maintain authority. If it was like a civilian talking down to this MX, of course that's how it would react. It's not necessarily connected to feelings, though. I think it's just it has a disdain for DRNs. Which, you know, Kennex, he still has this attitude of, oh no, I blew its head off because it was annoying me. I would trade it in the same way I would with a broken toaster or something like that. And
because it's a robot and he hates the robots.
Right.
Several $100,000 toaster.
Yeah. So we still have Dorian trying to get out from under that position in Kennex's mind. And it's so weird to be talking about this knowing that Kennex does evolve and that his position does start to change and that he becomes a better person. It's weird to see him this callous again.
Agreed.
Yeah, he's always been rough around the edges, but there was stuff in this episode where it was very grating to sit there and watch, like however many episodes in.
Right, like, but it would have made sense second episode.
As the second episode,
even like 3 or 4 in, like I liked the gruffness. I liked the like headbutting between him and Dorian. The only thing that I could think the reason that they moved it this far is that they needed to spread out the stuff about In Syndicate. That we're gonna get more of it soon, and they needed to remind us now. Because I think we might get it in like 2 episodes, 3 episodes from now. So they needed to bring it back up so that we didn't completely forget something that has barely been mentioned since the pilot.
Yeah.
That's actually probably a good call, because we have this character of Raynor, who we haven't seen since the pilot, who I'm sure many folks at home were like, who's that guy again? He looks kind of familiar. What did he do? But he's an In Syndicate guy. He was part of the plot in the pilot. trying to take over the police station, break in and kill everybody, the Myclone Red and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, they were trying to steal something from the vault, and we completely forgot the vault existed.
And wasn't it a person? Like they at the very end of the episode, they like went in and showed a person in a box, like maybe an android of sorts.
Yeah, it was a part of an android.
Yeah. It was like a whole big thing, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of any of it since the pilot. So yeah, maybe they kept this episode on ice so that we would have some kind of primer, because if we're 8 episodes in, there's 5 episodes left. We got 1 lost episode, and then 4 episodes, which at least 2 of them have to deal with in Syndicate. I mean, am I wrong?
I imagine the second and the last episodes of the season, probably.
Yeah. So what, we're missing episode 4, and then when we come back we get episodes 9, 10, 11, or 10, 11, 12, and 13. We saw episode 9 as episode 7. Oy.
I wonder if it was a ploy on the writer's part and the producer's part, maybe, to bring this back up to get fans back watching again now. Because we still haven't gotten word if the show's renewed yet.
Sure.
And I wonder if there's concern.
It's entirely possible. I know that I'm concerned. Like, I think it's popular enough, at the very least.
Right.
You know, it's popular on Hulu. This podcast is popular. Thank you, fans.
Thank you, fans.
I would say that the show is popular enough that it's not any kind of a failure. I wouldn't say that at all.
It's getting about $6.5 million a week, which is decent.
Yeah.
But not for a special effects heavy show,
right?
Because of the cost.
Right.
That's true. And Fox,
it's a waiting
when Fox decides they're going to pull the plug on something, they'll pull the plug on it. They won't hesitate.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate.
I have to imagine that the decision about whether or not this show gets a second season is going to come in based on what their pilots look like at the end of pilot season.
Well, Fox just said no more pilot season.
No more pilot season?
Fox is not going to do a traditional pilot season
So they're not, oh wow. So then I have no idea. I assume that for the show to be up and running in time, that they need to give them a decision by May, so that they can get to work. So hopefully we'll find out sooner rather than later, but I'm biting my nails just a little bit.
We're all keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We like the show.
We like the show, and we want to see more of it. And on that note, I just want to talk really quickly about iTunes. Folks, thank you so much to everyone who supports the show, who downloads the show. We love doing it. We love talking about Almost Human almost as much as you love listening to us talk about Almost Human. Maybe more. I can't really quantify the two because, frankly, we've never met. But here's the deal, folks. We need your support. This is a free podcast. You get to download it for free and listen to it or watch it on any of your devices that you ever could possibly want. I'm sure you could hack a Neo Geo Pocket Color and watch this show on it, or at the very least listen.
Text instrument calculator, perhaps?
Yeah. A TI-83 Plus Silver Edition,
Absolutely.
You probably could get away with it if you could expand the memory just enough.
You could plug it in, the USB.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, we don't get paid. We do this out of the goodness of our heart. If you like this show, what could you do to support us? Here's the deal. Go to iTunes, slap the show with a 5-star rating or whatever rating you feel is fair. Give us a review. Let us know how we're doing. What do you like about the show? Who on our panel has the best ideas? Who has the worst ideas? What is the worst joke I've ever made? Should there be more Dorian dick humor? Should there be less? What should be expunged? We need your feedback to do so. A big thanks to all the 25 people who have reviewed this show. Let me say something, folks. I do a lot of shows on this network. Anyone who listens to anything on this network knows I do a lot of shows on this network. We can do better. I believe in you, and we need your support. I want to give a big shout out to, I think it was Manga Rock, who tweeted at us, and actually, or not tweeted at us, reviewed us on iTunes and had an awesome question that I wanted to bring up with everybody.
Yes.
Something about the wall, right?
Yeah, so in a bunch of episodes, they've made references to the wall. Stay on this side of the wall. In this episode, they talked about the wall again, and she was basically asking, like what is this wall? And I have to believe that as hard as it is to police the district that they're in this city, I have to imagine the wall is barring the city from the rest of the world.
The borders.
Well, if you look in the pilot, and I think we talked about this
Yes.
on the first podcast, there was this really quick shot that I was just all about. I loved it because you could see the wall, and it was clearly divided into two. The city was divided into two sections. One was very brightly lit, very city of the future, and one was very dim, dark, like modern day Chicago or New York or whatever.
All the like warehousey districts that all the criminals wind up hiding in, and also Rudy's place.
Just around the corner.
Yeah, I have to imagine that his next door neighbors are both criminals, right?
Probably. He looks like he would live in a neighborhood that deals in a lot of drugs.
Well, no, it's just like that exterior of his place also looks like the exterior of the place in the Benz at the top of the episode where the guy got killed, the undercover cop, and like the exterior of every other place that has appeared on this show and Fringe because they both shoot
I
in
keep
Canada.
imagining in like the back alley behind the police station.
Oh, that they just
Like
walk
there's just
out
like
of the police
by
station?
the dumpsters or whatever. There's
There's like a secret entrance by the dumpster.
Exactly. That's.
Then why have
he
we
has
never
to-
seen Rudy like scuttle into the police station for coffee?
But he's so accessible. Like they just
Yeah.
like they go out of a meeting and wander into Rudy's place.
Yeah, I guess so.
I did like in this episode the little Rudy reference, even though it's out of place, what he was talking about going undercover and would there be sex prostitutes and
Sex prostitutes? As opposed to
Sex
food
bots.
prostitutes or book prostitutes?
Some guys just want to talk, man.
Yeah.
Some
I
guys
just
just
like to
want to
cuddle.
write on paper with a pen. Some guys just want that real interaction.
That was a
and
great.
some girls have all the fun.
Aww.
yeah.
How old-fashioned.
The pen was a great moment, though. It really
Yeah.
like showed again like a great way to establish this series. 8 episodes in,
Slightly
with
bad.
like that pens are outdated. That like that is a weird concept that she couldn't believe some loser wrote a note in pen and ink.
Yeah.
But it's
How
great.
archaic.
You're almost out of ink. I wonder if that pen still works.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably dried out.
But no, and it was kind of funny because she was talking about it like he chiseled it in granite or something. Like it was something that old. But at the same time, really endearing. And
I'm
everything.
totally gonna be a grandpa with a pen and like a little moleskin that I walk around with, and they're like, "Grandpa, what are you doing with that?" Oh, you don't know, you kids.
Oh, you
But
kids.
Grandpa, how are you going to connect it to the thought web? It's just going to be here on paper. You're so weird.
And I'm gonna start babbling about EMPs
Yeah.
and the data being erased. and-
Grandpa, you should just get a cerebellics procedure already. Jeez.
This is
So
what all the
fashion.
cool kids are doing.
You're so
Everybody
annoying.
has one.
Well, speaking of the cerebellics, they went into more like mind procedures that they have in the future. They
Yeah.
have Eternal
Scrubbing.
Sunshine.
Eternal
Scrubbing.
Sunshine, yeah.
Yeah,
Scrubbing your brain.
And you're not one of those anti-scrubbers, are you? Which was like just this polarizing. It's a polarizing part of this society. Like there's just like it's so accepted that to be against it is weird.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it would make him as old-fashioned as her boyfriend's use of pen and paper. Just kind of like how we feel about like hipsters who still use typewriters and like stuff like that.
Well, that's just crazy.
Yeah, those hipsters.
It's not crazy.
It's like
There's
wearing a
something very
stocking cap in the
satisfying.
summertime. I just don't
Well,
get it.
It's just hard because if you make a mistake, you have to go and get white out.
Yeah, and also, Ryan, if you wear black jeans and a white shirt and then you wear a black stocking cap, that completes the look.
But
okay?
it's 80 degrees. You don't need a stocking cap.
You do
Take it off.
if you care about fashion, Ryan.
On topic.
On topic. So,
But on the plus side of having this episode and this part is that Kennex finally gave Detective Stahl his number.
What?
Yeah, that was like
And
my
I
favorite part of the
think
episode.
if he had given that to her in episode 2, if this had aired in order, we'd be like wondering why hasn't she called?
well, and also, yeah, why is Dorian telling him, hey, man, you got to make a move on Detective Stahl when he already did?
Yeah, he put himself out there and
Aw,
kind of.
buddy.
On the website.
Isn't it a little soon for him to be putting himself out there? I mean,
Well, we didn't see the number. Who knows what's
Who knows
on
what's
that?
on
That's
there.
true. He
I
might have
didn't-
just written hi.
yeah, I didn't know that it was his number. I thought it was like a thank you message, like thank
It
you for
might have
the
been.
energy
Yeah.
chew.
You know what? I just made an assumption that it was his number.
Okay.
So we don't know what he wrote. We don't know what he wrote. But
Well,
I assumed it was his
I'm
number.
just going to assume it's his number. too.
So this episode is basically lost in translation, except it's androids instead of Asian people.
Well, speaking of Stahl,
Yes.
something. It was a quick throwaway throwaway line that I really just we need to bring up. Detective Paul or Richard or whatever
His name is
Paul.
Detective Richard Paul.
D-bag for short.
overly confusing. Detective D-bag.
We're just gonna keep calling him
Detective
Detective D-bag.
You claimed a second name and now you lost Paul. Even though I gave it to you last week for being nice, you're back to Detective
He gave
D-bag.
it to you freely, Detective D-bag.
But
took it away.
anyway, he just like, oh, my parents couldn't afford to make me that attractive, and they like basically make a crack that Stahl is bioengineered to be
She's a
more
genetically
attractive.
enhanced person.
I mean,
that is
yes,
like
Minka Kelly,
mind-blowing.
maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
well, no, but this is an interesting point. Let's talk about it. So it kind of reframes who she is to know that she's genetically engineered, or at the very least genetically enhanced, either to be smarter or more beautiful. Or I couldn't discern from that scene whether or not, you know, she was playing it off because she was, or she was playing it off because she wasn't. She's just, her parents are rich. She comes from a nice background.
When you're the spawn of an Aerosmith guitar player, you're genetically enhanced.
Is she the spawn of an Aerosmith guitar
Minka
player?
Kelly is, her dad was in Aerosmith.
Which one?
I don't remember.
Okay.
All right.
We can look it up.
Yeah, you can look it up. Maybe you can look it up before you bring it onto my show.
I'll leave it at the door. Anyway.
Well, but that's a huge part of society. If that's like a real thing,
Yeah,
if he's
and
just
it's
like making a joke.
It's amazing that we haven't explored it yet.
Yeah, and it was really weird to find out about that, you know, this far into the series. It was like, wait, what? Like, I did a double take at the TV. I was like, what? She's been genetically enhanced,
Yeah,
and
like
this is
how?
the first time we're talking about it?
Yeah, she's not the one who flipped that van. It's not like she has super strength or any kind of crazy powers.
Not yet.
I guess.
That we know of. She doesn't leave the office.
That's true.
Maybe
but
they don't let her leave the office because there was an incident last time.
maybe.
Too many people
Remember
died.
the Christmas party?
Yeah.
They had too many eggnogs, and then
Well, last time she left, she got kidnapped
Yeah.
and held hostage.
Yeah. Well, here's what I think also, right? She comes from money that makes her that much more different from Detective Kennex. And it's
That's
another
true.
obstacle kind of in their
Well,
relationship.
that and most cops are, you know, they're blue collar.
Yeah, so
and
why
to
should
have
cop?
somebody, you know, coming from a wealthy family who would choose to be a cop when, they do great work, but they don't exactly get paid all that much.
Maybe she's embarrassed of her background. Maybe she's ashamed of her parents' immense wealth. Because the way it looks like in this society, you know, the disparity economically has gotten even worse than it is now. So if her parents are very wealthy, then that's, you know, kind of, it feels almost criminal because so many people have very, very little in this version of the future.
but she might be out to prove something as well, where, you know, hey, I come from money, but I'm still doing this and helping people and doing the right thing,
Yeah.
which could make her more approachable, more genuine, you know, someone that we like to get attracted to.
It makes me want to know even more about her because it's like, why are you here? Where did you come from? Like, what is your motivation for being a cop?
We're getting more backstory on Stahl, which we have not gotten to this point.
Which is
Very
great,
little.
and I was hoping that, you know, we'd get more this week once I realized we were getting any at all, because we still don't really have that much. But, you know, we have to think about this episode in terms of this was intended to help set up the world and the characters, so of course we're getting more of these character answers, and we're learning the rules of the world really late into the game. Yeah, that there are, you know, genetically enhanced people running around out there, that MXs very firmly believe that Dorian is beneath them. They're not like ignoring him or just thinking of him as another machine. He is less than them.
And one other thing that I thought was very interesting in regards to DRNs is when they're in the advertising company or whatever, their ad
advertisements.
censors,
Yeah.
they
To the
advertise to Dorian,
Yeah.
like DRN number 130, whatever he was.
It's a very Minority Report.
Yeah, but not just that they were advertising, but they were advertising to a DRN. And my first thought was, can DRNs have money?
Are they allowed to buy things?
If they're advertising, that implies that they can purchase something, or that they have influence in some way.
That they get wages.
Or that it's so human-like that the computer thought that it was a person and advertised to it.
Well, no, but it knew he was a DRN. It called him
it
by
knew
his
name.
serial number.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could also be that it detects your DNA and is able to pull up records based on that. So it could have just been the name, but I far prefer what you're alleging.
Well, they say if you look, there was like an ad for like new eyes, like a new type of eye thing that they were advertising, like very specific. They were advertising DRN parts to Dorian.
Which is a very interesting segment of this culture. I'm wondering what happened to all these people who were dealing parts and supplies and trinkets specifically to the android market, who then, when these personality-based androids were outlawed, who then suddenly had nothing and became desperate and then became criminals.
Well, I imagine they're still supplying parts for the MXs and
Just
stuff.
to humans.
Or Google bought them.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, where's Google in this
We're going to
future?
find out the MXs run on Android.
Yeah. I wonder... I know this
Which
is,
version?
I'm not even gonna. I shouldn't even say this because it's just dumb. But I'm like, what if in Syndicate is Apple in the future? And I'm. Yeah, exactly. It might be the dumbest train of thought I've ever had.
Steve Jobs is back.
Yeah, Android Steve Jobs. Let's do that. Let's do that episode.
Oh my God.
I've maintained for years that Google will become Skynet.
Okay, how many years have you maintained that?
2. Maybe.
I guess that is multiple years, so we'll give that to
I
you.
would be sorely disappointed in them because part of their philosophy, like their company philosophy, is don't be evil. So shame on you,
Well,
Google,
nobody
if you become.
intends to make Skynet.
I mean, it just happens.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, let's talk more in the plot of this episode. We have this grieving woman and her daughter, and she's about to be eliminated so that there are no witnesses to this crime and that no evidence can be linked back to these arms dealers. And they put her in a safe house underground. Of course, she runs away. Why? We don't know. And she's trying to keep her daughter safe. And it's a race against time to help save her. Dorian takes the bullet for her at the last second and starts speaking, I think, Chinese.
It was Korean.
Yeah.
Korean.
Which, according to some tweets that Michael Ealy retweeted, he was speaking very good Korean.
Oh. Did he speak Korean before the show, or did he have a linguist, a coach?
I'm sure he had a coach.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Good for him. It
was very
sounded
good, yes.
very fluent.
Yes.
Very
And the girl's
authentic.
name is Kira, by the way.
Kira.
Kira Larson.
Oh, poor Kira.
I thought it was
Yeah.
Kara.
And her daughter, Amy. I paused it on the scene when they showed her driver's license.
Yeah.
K-I-R.
Yeah. Zach. Ryan paused it. Did
Duh.
you pause
Did
it?
you pause it?
I just listened.
You could have paused it, and then you would know, okay? But you don't. Do you?
Did anyone catch after he got shot when he was getting scanned to make sure that he was okay, that the scanning robot afterwards was like, hugs not drugs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very weird.
So it was really weird. I was like,
Yeah.
why did they tell him hugs not drugs?
Because it's a PSA bot as well as a scan bot. Yeah. Public scanning announcement. You know.
But boom.
Maybe that's why the DRNs were commissioned. They just had a problem.
Yeah, maybe they all developed consummate drug problems.
Advertising.
Well, I mean, if they're supposed to be very human-like, humans are susceptible to drugs. It's a big deal. It's a big problem in this country.
Well, it could be like Futurama. They get whacked out on electricity.
Yeah. What if he overcharges and then reduces the strength of his battery? And that's permanent damage to that battery. That's why you shouldn't keep your phone plugged in or your computer after it's already at 100%.
My Android tells me to unplug it.
It says, unplug me.
Unplug now, 100%.
Droid.
So speaking of the syndicates and such, how many factions have we had in this show that have been different, like revolutionary groups? Like this one's Revolution Now is the group this week.
Yeah.
And we have in Syndicate. We had the episode where they're in the stairwell the whole time, and there was a group there.
Well, they were just thieves.
They were thieves that were pretending to be another group.
There was a faction that they talked about, even if they weren't. So
Right.
there is this group available.
Well, I mean, imagine in a world where already we have a problem where everybody has a voice, regardless of whether or not they should have a voice.
True.
But so, like, in that world where you can find...
I should not
That's why
have
the
a voice.
Kardashians are famous.
Yeah, look at where we are right now.
I should not have a voice. Nope.
But where you can get anybody that has a view can find the other people that share that view, even if it's just like a collective of like 15 people, that can be enough to start a violent revolution.
Yes.
And so you could have hundreds or if not thousands of different revolutionary factions that have come to prominence.
Well, I mean, look globally right now. I mean, I would say America is, you know, as even though we have a lot of political freedom, there isn't as much radicalism here as if you look overseas in Europe. There's a lot of radical revolutionary factions. You look at what happened in Egypt and all across Asia and Africa and the Middle East. There's a lot of unrest, and people are more organized now than they have ever been. So you add 35 years onto that and a hell of a lot of economic strife, you better believe there's going to be a lot of revolutionaries. That's a very, very good point, Zach. So yeah, these arms dealers, we got revolutionaries. We have these fancy bullets, which like kind of look almost like a sonic screwdriver. Yeah, Zach's got his sonic screwdriver pen.
Yes, I do. Old-fashioned. I still carry a pen.
Yes.
Me too.
I don't, because I'm in the future. I have an iPhone. This is good. This is better than a pen.
I have both.
Think so.
I have both.
Till your memory freezes and wipes out.
Till my memory freezes and wipes out, and then I'll just get a new one. Yeah. Dude, what are you, anti-scrubbing?
A little bit.
Are you an anti-scrubber?
You're one of those guys.
Well, that was something she like. Whether it's Kara or Kira, she ran to get scrubbed. Like, she saw it as a solution to her problem.
She was like, they'll watch me get scrubbed, and then they'll let me live. Wrong.
That is so short-sighted.
But that's such a, I mean, that's the problem with having some kind of memory eraser. And this is technology that is very close to being real right now.
Yeah.
There have been some huge advancements in memory erasing. Like,
That's terrifying.
It's maybe 5-10 years out.
It's like a computer
from what I've been
roofie.
reading. Yeah, but that's exactly the problem. Like, that's not the way to deal with your problems. Like, they're gonna end up making the same mistakes again if you scrub out.
Yeah, the lessons that you learn.
Yeah,
yeah, and the beautiful memories like getting that phone number on a piece of paper and tearing it up and having him say, "I'm going to keep it. I'm going to change your mind."
In a safe box.
She would have had to get rid of all the memories of her boyfriend for this to work. And so, yeah, that, you know, she, in her mind, she would have been safe. But no, that's not how that works. You know, they would have killed her anyway, and she wouldn't know why.
Yeah. No.
Who knows when you're going to have some crazy Eternal Sunshine journey where you rediscover what you forgot.
Sure. Who knows? Well, no, I'm sure in the future you can just plan them. You know, like that'll be your spring break.
It's like the game. Here we are, like getting all terrorist on us.
What else we got to talk about this episode? I think we've covered a lot of the bases here. I think our big position is all right. So we've invested in the series. We love these people. We want to know more. We love everything the show's giving it to us. Now let's move the plot forward, shall we?
Yeah, let's get actually back to In Syndicate instead of just bringing it back up.
Let's get back to the stall relationship, romance, flirtation.
Yes.
Let's get back to punching Detective D-Bag in the face.
I love
Which is always
that.
great.
Always great. Let's go to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
It's even creepier.
I know. It's like when you cover your ears and you hit them over and over. Yeah. Exactly what Ryan was doing.
Yes.
Just like that.
Did you guys see the preview?
Trailer? Yeah.
I watched it on Hulu Plus. I did.
Oh man,
So,
next week's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be good.
Break it down for us.
Yeah.
So we get a little preview that we're gonna meet
Dr. Vaughn.
Dr. Nigel. Yeah, Nigel.
Oh, the creator of the DRNs.
Yeah. So
No way.
Dorian's dad. Daddy issues time.
Yeah. I love it.
And there's also a homicidal android.
Well, he created the Dr. Nigel daddy guy created some kind of really bad, out of control female.
It's like the female Wolverine.
Cool.
Yeah, she's really hot. She's walking around in lingerie at one point.
It's the female Wolverine.
Ryan and Zach are just in heaven.
Yes.
Yeah. And please, Dr. Nigel Daddy Goodfella is my father. Call me Barry.
There's only one way to stop her, though.
What is it?
And Kennex is going to have to stab her in the back of the neck with some kind of big needle contraption
like a giant EpiPen.
Okay, I totally thought you were going to be like, there's only one way to stop her. Dorian has to seduce her and give her a sexually transmitted computer virus.
No.
Okay.
But the problem isn't there a break right now? Are we about to go to a 3-week break?
Are we about to go on a 3-week break?
They said when we return in 3 weeks at the end.
I didn't see this promo again.
I blinked.
So that is such a huge bummer. That is a huge bummer.
I hope that's not true.
All right, well then let me make an appeal to our loving fans here. We, as fans of a TV show, especially a sci-fi show on Fox, it is our responsibility
Absolutely.
to make sure that when the show comes back in 3 weeks, there is no drop-off in the ratings. Okay? This show must go on, and that requires our support.
Watch it live. Watch it legally. Don't download it on a torrent site. Watch it on Hulu. Watch it on your DVR. Those ratings count too.
Yes.
Set your DVRs now for the next time. Record the series.
If you live in a flyover state, you or your friend may have a Nielsen box.
And for only 1 hour a day, Almost Human can return.
Yes. So give 1 hour of your day. Find your friends, your neighbors, even your foes with a Nielsen box and set their televisions to Fox Mondays at 8 p.m.
For just 1 hour of your time, you could help save a DRN.
For just 1 hour of your time, you can travel a Dorian in your heart. Okay.
Dorians, where we're going, we don't need Dorians.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh. Hey.
And I'm going to start it this week.
Go,
New
predictions.
hashtag, Dorian-sized fun.
Yeah.
So tweet at us with the hashtag
Next week, we got
Dorian-sized
any
fun.
predictions.
Yeah. Any other predictions? I think, okay, we're meeting Dorian's dad, and
I think we're going to find out about the DRN's decommissioning.
yes,
Go.
or at least get a big clue. Megan?
DRN fight!
Zach, anything else?
Dorian gets turned on by a sexy robot lady.
Nice.
So does
Okay.
Zach Wilson.
Megan, where can the people find you?
At the Menguin on Twitter. That's MENGUIN. I'm also on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast, and I will be on the Sherlock podcast.
Yes, she
coming
will.
up.
Snap.
Ryan Hooks, where can the people
At
find
Ryan
you?
Hooks 92 at Twitter, Instagram, Yahoo, and Snapchat. Also, we're starting Intelligence podcast this week for the brand new show.
Oh, snap.
Intelligence.
Yes.
And Revolutions. Both on Wednesdays.
Send him weird Snapchats. Zach
Do it.
Wilson.
You can catch me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, and you can also catch me on the Grimm After Show, the Helix After Show with Matt Lieberman,
Yeah.
and now Archer and Chosen.
Ooh, how is Chosen?
We're starting Black Sails.
Interesting.
Okay, good to know. All right, folks, you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. I'm everywhere here on AfterBuzz TV. I'm just gonna throw out a few of the names and just Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Sleepy Hollow, only 2 episodes left. We got Cougar Town later tonight. We got Justified, we got Betas, great show. If you haven't seen it, you can get a free month of Amazon Prime at amazon.com/free month. Check that out. All kinds of great stuff. We will see you in 3 weeks. Good night, we love you.
Later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.